Hi everyone, today we will be covering four concepts in our session from 13 till 16, which specifically are cardinal and ordinal numbers, Roman numerals, rounding, and estimations. I've already given the time codes of these concepts in the description box below. That will help you to jump directly to the portion of work you'd like to watch and learn. Thank you very much guys for visiting the channel and learning here. Let's begin the session. So here is concept number 13, which is cardinal and ordinal numbers. Cardinal numbers are the numbers that say how many of something there are. Now, what does it mean? We will see it in the example. I will explain it to you through an example. So here we have a number of different envelopes. Two of them are having blue color, three of them are having purple color, and one of them is in a yellow color. Okay, so when I ask you there are how many total number of envelopes, so you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in total there are 6 number of envelopes, right? So total number of envelopes are 6. Now if I ask you there are how many purple envelopes, so you can count them 1, 2, and 3. So whenever we have to count a number of things or a number of objects, so we can name those numbers as cardinal numbers, right? Let's say if I ask you, let's take another example. Okay, so let's say you have 5 oranges, right? And I have, this is me, this is you, this is me, and I have 3 apples, right? You have 5 oranges, I have 3 apples. So now if I ask you, you have how many number of oranges, so you can set it that I have 5 oranges, right? And I have how many apples, I have 3 apples. And if I ask you that both of us together have how many number of fruits, how many fruits, so we answered them as in total we have 8 fruits, right? So we can represent this number as our cardinal number, right? Okay, now coming to the next, so this was the cardinal numbers. Now moving on to the ordinal numbers. Now what are the ordinal numbers? So as the name suggests that this ordinal numbers derived from the word order, ORDER, right? So ordinal numbers are the numbers that tell the position of something in a list. So this is very important, position of something in a list. Now let's take the same example that we have taken in the previous case. So we have a number of different envelopes having different colors. So now if I ask you what is the position of a yellow envelope, so you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if I say 5, that would be a wrong. So we always represent the position of something or order of something in an ordinal numbers. So we pronounce it as fifth, right? Rather than 5, we are going to say it as fifth. So if I say 5, that would be wrong, right? So the position of yellow envelope is fifth, it is not 5. So this is how we represent the ordinal numbers. Hope you got the concept. Let's do few examples on it. Okay, now see, these are the cardinal numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right, these all are the representation of cardinal numbers. Now if I'm going to write these numbers in an ordinal form, how we are going to pronounce it and how we are going to write it. So we say it not 1, we will say it as first. For the second, we'll say it's second, not 2. And this is how we write it. So this is its mathematical representation of ordinal numbers. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, and so on. Right? Okay, moving on to the next question, which is identify the whether the number is cardinal or ordinal number. So here we have an activity. Let's solve this activity. You can solve it on your own and then you can see whether our answers are matching or not. Okay, the first very question is this is the third time Ryan is visiting a zoo. Now over here the key we have to focus on this word third time, right? Third. So third is an representing a cardinal number or an ordinal number. So this is representing an order, right? He is re repeating this thing three times, right? So this is the third time he is visiting a zoo. So that is an ordinal number, right? Next, there are 10 Fruito candies in Jenny's bag. So what is this? Focus on the word 10. Now there is no such order, right? So they are representing the amount or amount of candies in Jenny's bag. So this is representing as this is what? Cardinal number. Next, Lily's mother cooked 4 chicken sandwiches. Over here, the keyword is 4. It's not fourth. There is no such order. They are representing the number of objects. So she is cooking or she has cooked 4 chicken sandwiches. So this is again a cardinal number. Next, Jack is in the 7th grade, right? So Jack is now in the 7th grade. So this is an ordinal number. Okay, Kina is sitting in the 5th row of her classroom. So over here, 5th row. So this is representing an order, position of something. Remember? So this is an ordinal number. And then we have Aunt Zoe has taken 15 days sick leave from workplace. So she has taken 15 days. So this is telling us something about the number, right? 15 days sick leave from the workplace. So this is a cardinal number or an ordinal number. So this is a cardinal number, right? So this is how you differentiate between the cardinal and the ordinal numbers. Before moving on, let me tell you one more thing. Let me add one more thing, which is, see if I say 2. Now what does it mean? It means there are two number of objects, right? If I see if I say 3, so there are three number of objects. If I say 4, there are four number of objects, right? Or things. But look over here. If I say second, so the position of this thing is second, but it will remain as 1, right? Let's say it is 2, or we have 3 chocolates. Let's say we have 3 chocolates. So they're talking about the second one. So they are basically talking about the second chocolate placed at the chocolate placed at the second place, right? Now in this case, we cannot say that this is representing number 2. The object or thing is just 1. Over here we have 2 chocolates. Over here we have just 1 chocolate. Its position is at the second place, right? So if I say there are, let's suppose, 10 athletes. Let's take an example here. If I say there are 10 athletes running in a marathon. So if someone asks you how many athletes are running in a marathon, so there are 10 athletes, right? 10 different members. Okay, now if they're asking you about the 10th athlete, so now they're not talking about all of those 10 athletes. They're just talking about one person whose place is at the 10th place, right? Whose position is at the 10th place. Got it? So they just neglect all of the first 9 athletes and they're just right now talking about the person whose position is at the 10th place, right? Over here they're talking about all of those 10 members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Got it? I hope you got the concept. So here comes to an end of this concept. Let's move on to the next concept, which are Roman numerals. In Roman numerals, there are basic 7 symbols that we need to learn. In order to learn these, how to write numbers in the Roman form. So these are the numbers in the mathematical form: 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500 and 1000. So these are the basic 7 numbers that help us to write any number in a Roman numeral, right? So how we write number 1 in Roman numeral form? So we are going to write 1 as 1 like this, or you can either write it like this. In both ways it is correct, right? For number 5, so how we write it in Roman numeral form? We write it like this, just an alphabet, English alphabet V, right? Then how we write number 10 in Roman form? So we simply write it as X. Then 50, how we write 50 in a Roman form? So we write it as L. Then we have a 100, how we write it in Roman form? That is C. After that 500, so Roman representation of 500 is D. And finally at last we have 1000. So how we write it? We represent it with alphabet M, right? So these are basically the 7 symbols that help you to write any number in the Roman form, right? All other numbers except these 7s are basically the repetition of these 7 digits or these 7 numbers. Okay. Okay, let's write few numbers in the Roman representation. So Roman numerals from 1 to 100. Okay, 0. So can we write 0 in a Roman numeral form? No, we cannot write it, or it's simply not defined, right? Though there comes, if I say a number 10, so in this 10 we have a 0. But overall collectively the Roman representation of number 10 is, we have learned already, it is X, right? See, this is X. Okay, so for number 1 we have already studied. For number 1 it is 1. For number 2 we simply write 2. See, basically what is 2? 2 is basically 1 plus 1 will give you 2, and we have already learned the Roman representation of number 1, which is this one. So we write it twice because 1 plus 1 will give you 2, right? Similarly 3. So 3 is basically coming from by adding 1 plus 1 plus 1. So we write all these ones. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Now here comes the next digit, which is 5. Okay, all you need to remember all those 7 basic symbols. With the help of those 7 symbols we are going to derive any number in the Roman form, right? Now 4, how we write 4? So this is very interesting. So since we know that if we take away 1 from 5, or 5 take away 1, we will get 4, right? So the Roman representation of 5, what is the Roman representation of 5? This is V, right? So let's just solve this 5. So Roman representation of digit 5 is V. Now over here 5 take away 1. So we just write V. Now this is 5, right? Now what is a Roman representation of digit 1? This is 1. So write it 1 here. So 5 take away 1 is 4. So this is how you write in the Roman form number 4, right? Now coming to the digit 6. So the basic symbol we have learned is 5, the representation of 5, which is V, and it is plus 1. If you add 1 in 5 you will get 6. Simple. So what is a Roman representation of 1? It's 1. Okay, now here arises a question that how we came to know whether we should write 1 before or we should write 1 after this v, right? So if you see both of these two having different representations. So since 4 comes before 5, so that's why we write 1 before v. And in this case 1 comes after 5, or you can say that 6 comes after 5, so that's why, so 6 comes after 5, so that's why we write 1 after v, right? Simple. Okay, next for number 7, it is 5 plus 2. So how we write it? So for 5 it is v, and for 2 we have already learned, just put 2 sticks. So this is 7. For number 8 it is v, 1 1 1. For number 9, okay, let's first solve number 10 because this comes one of the basic symbols. So what comes in this list? Number 1, this would be our basic symbol, this is our basic symbol, and number 10. So using these three basic symbols we have already learned how to write numbers from 1 to 10, right? So coming to 10, what is the Roman representation of number 10? This is x, right? Okay, now 9. Since 9 comes before 10, so first of all we have to take away 10, take away 1. Remember this thing. So what is the Roman representation of number 10? This is x. Since 9 comes before 10, so we have to write 1 before x, right? Okay, now let's solve from 11 to 20. So for number 10, it is simply an x. Okay, so for number 11 it is, for 10 it is x, and 11 it is 10 plus 1 is 11. So for 10 I have written x, and for 1 I'm just going to write 1. Let me just write it this way, right? Okay, for number 12, so this is, let me also just change the color. So 12, 10 plus 2 is 12. For 10 I'm going to write x, and for 2 I'm going to write 2 sticks. Next for number 13, so 13 is basically 10 plus 3, because why I always start it with a 10, because 10 is our one of the basic symbol, right? So this is x, and write 3 sticks. For number 14, so 10 plus 4 is 14. So here comes 10, Roman representation of 10 is x. And now coming to the 4, so we have already learned 4, which is this 1 and v, right? So write it here, 1 and v. Then 15, so 10 plus 5 is 15, so for 10 it is x, and for 5 it is v. For 16, 10 plus 6 is 16. For 10 I'm going to write 1, and plus 6. For 6 the representation is v1, right? For 17, 10 plus 7 is 17. For 10 I'm going to write x, and for 7 it is v11. For number 18, 10 plus 8 is 18, so here it is 10, which is x, and 8, so how we are going to write 8? v111. And for number 19, which is 10 plus 9 is 19, for 10 it is x, and 19 for 9 it would be 1x, right? And for 20 it is 20 is 10 plus 10 will give you 20, so for 10 it is x, and for another 10 it is again x. So here we have successfully written the numbers in Roman representation from 1 to 20. Okay, let me just fill in all these blanks or boxes for you quickly, and then we'll solve few of them together. Here we go. So the Roman representation of number 20 is XX, right? Okay, now next number is 21. So if you see, that is basically a sum of 20 plus 1. 20 plus 1 is 21. So for 20 it is XX. So all here 20, 20, 23, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we are adding basically a part of 20 here, which is XX, 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 and so on, right? Okay, and then we have 26. So if you focus from 1, the other part of these 20s, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, so their representations are the basics ones, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then it is 1x, which is 9. So 20 plus 9 is 29. And for the 30, this is basically 10 plus 10 plus 10. So this is 10 plus 10 plus 10. So this is 3 times x will give you 30, right? Now again 31. So from 31 to 39, 30s are repeating. See, if you see, 30s are repeating. So that's why x, x, x are keep on repeating in the next sequence of number, right? And then other digit, the unit place 1 2 3, you're already familiar with this one, their Roman representations, right? And then we have 40. Okay, let's discuss about these three symbols, which is 40, 50, and 60. Okay, now look here. So for 50, if we are going to solve 50 first, so see, for 50, we have already learned this is basically one of the basic 7 symbols for 50, which is L, right? So now 40 comes before 50. So this is basically 40 or 50 minus 10 will give us 40, right? So for 50 it is L, and for 10 it is X, right? For 50 it is L, for 10 it is X. Now the question is whether we should write X after L or before L. So simply 40 comes before 50, so that's why we are going to write X before L. Now coming to the next portion, which is 60. So 60 is again 50 plus 10. Why we are adding 10 in 50s? Because 50 is one of the basic symbol, right? So Roman symbol for 50 is L, and Roman symbol for 10 is X. Now the question is, where should we write X, either before L or after L? So see, 60 comes after 50, so that's why we are going to write X after L, right? So this is our basically, this 50 is our center of attention. We have to move other numbers either before or after this 50. Why? Because 50 is one of the basic 7 symbols. Got it? Similarly, for now the symbol for 60 is L, 50 is L. So now L is going to repeat every time in the next 9 digits. So from 51 to 59, see, L is keep on repeating for the next 9 digits. And the other portion is which is 1 2 3 4 9, they are repeating in every row. And then we have 60. So we have already studied how to write its a Roman representation, which is Lx. Now 61, Lx is going to repeat, because for 60 it is Lx. So 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, so on till 70. So now here comes a question, how do we write 70? So again, we'll go back to our one of the seven basic symbols. So one of them is 50, and 50 plus 20 will give us 70. Symbol for 50 is L. Symbol for 20, if you split this 20 in parts, that is basically 10 plus 10. We have already studied. So for 10 it is X, for another 10 it is X. So collectively for 20 it is XX, right? Since now 70 comes after 50, so that's why we are going to write XX after L. Got it? And so similar is the case with the 80. Now see, from 71 to 79, LXX is keep on repeating, right? And 19 is basically Roman representation of the number 9. Now we have 80. So same thing, 50 plus 30. So 50, for 50 it is L, and for 30 it is 3x. X plus X plus X, or 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. Right? Now this L X X X is keep on repeating for the next 9 numbers, right? And then we have 90. So for the basic, one of the basic symbol is for 100 is C, and this is one of the basic symbol. Now 90 comes before 100, right? So you just do it this way: 100 take away 90. Sorry, 100 take away 10. So this will give us 90. So symbol for 100 is C, and for 10 it is X. Since 90 comes before 100, so that's why we are going to write X before C, right? So this comes to an end of our this concept, writing numbers in the Roman numerals. I hope now you are perfect in writing numbers in numeral forms, if in case it is a part of your syllabus. Okay, moving on to the next concept, which is rounding off numbers. The rule is quite simple for rounding numbers. So if a number is 4 or less than 4, so you have to round it down, round that number down. And if a number is 5 or more, we have to round that number up. So if a number is 4 or less, what does it mean? If a number is 4, either 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 or 0. So in those cases we have to round that number down. And if we have a number which is 5 or more, so 5 or more means if we have a number 5 or 6, 7, 8 and 9, right? So in all those cases we are talking about just a single digit numbers. So if we have a digit 10, for example, so in that case we'll consider it just the digit which is at the unit place, which is 0. So that comes in the category of first one, which is 4 or less, right? Okay, so let's solve few examples to get this concept more clear. So round each to the nearest tens. So here we have a question which is 654, and we have to round it to the nearest 10. So this is our aim, to round this digit. Okay, so where is your 10th place? So this is a unit place, this is a 10th place, right? And this is a 100th place. So we have to round this number to the 10th place, right? So now look at the number after this 10th place, which is 4. So is this 4? So consider those two rules in your minds and see whether that number is 4 or less, or 5 or more, right? Since this 4 comes in the category of first list, right? This is the first and this is your second rule. So this digit 4 falls in the rule 1, so we have to round it down, right? So if a number is 4 or less than 4, we have to round it down. So this 4 would become 0. So this will become 650. right? So this number would become as 0. Cancel this, it will become 0, and remaining two digits will remain as it is, right? So we have successfully rounded this number to the nearest tens. So 654 would become 650. The next is 31. So now what is the tens place? So this 3 is basically locating at the tens place. So we have to round it off to the nearest tens. Now look at the digit after it, the digit at the unit place. So this is the 1. So this is already 4 or less than 4. So this is less than 4. So apply rule number 1. So we have to cut it, write 0 here, and the number would become 30, right? The next is 707. So the tens place is, this is unit and this is tens place, right? Now look at the digit at the unit place. So this number is more than 5, 5 or more than 5. So when a number is more than 5, right, we have to round up its previous digit, right? So add 1 in the previous digit. So this would become 1. So overall your number would become 710, right? So when a number is 5 or more than 5, you have to add 1 in the previous digit. So 0 plus 1 will give you 1. So the number will become 710. So whenever you are going to round it off, so you add into the previous number. If in case the number is 5 or bigger than 5, then write 0 and add 1 in the previous digit. 426. We have to round it to the nearest tens. So the digit at the tens place is 2, right? Now look at the digit at the unit place. So this is 5 or more than 5. Yes, it is more than 5. Apply the rule 2. So I'm going to cut it off, write 0 here, and add 1 in the previous digit. Why? Because this digit is more than 5. So your number would become 400 and so add these two numbers. So 2 plus 1 is 3, right? I hope you got the concept. Okay. Round each number to the underlined place value. So question number 1 is 6436. So we have to round it off to the underlined place value, which is over here at the 100 place. So when we are going to round it off, round it this way. So your this digit is 6, which is more than 5. If a number is 5 or more than 5, so you have to add 1 in the previous digit and cancel that digit or write 0 here, right? Now this number would become 4, right? So this is 4. So this is less than 5. So that would remain. So we are just going to shift it down, round down. So that would be cancelled and there is no adding in the previous digit, right? So this would become 6400. Got it? Or we can solve it with an other way, which is, since this is, we have to solve it till the underlined digit over here is 100. So what is a half of 100? So write 100 and half of 100 is 50. Right, now look at these two digits after the underlined place value. So this is 36, right? So is this less than 50 or more than 50? So if it is less than 50, so we have to round it down. If it is more than 50, we have to round up, right? Since this is less than 50, so we simply write 00 here. So this would give you 6400, right? Okay, moving on to the next question. 325. Now look at this number, which is 5. So this is 5 or more than 5. So just cancel it, add 1 in the previous digit. So this will become 300 and 1 plus 2 is 3 and 0 here, right? Or if you want to solve it another way, so just look at this number. This is 5 or less, 5 or more than 5. So this is 5. So add 1. So this will become 30, right? Next is 1387. So we have to round it till the thousand place. Unit, 10, 100 and 1000. So now look here. Let's start solving. So if I solve it directly, so look at the numbers here. 387. Since we have to round it to the thousands place, so what is a half of thousand? So half of thousand is 1000 divided by 2. This will give you 500. Now look at this digit. Is this less than 500 or more than 500? It is less than 500. So we simply round down. So round all these digits to 0. So this will become 1000, right? Now if I solve this question using an other way, so then it will become what? Now see, so this is 7 if we solve them individually, one digit at a time. So this is 7, this is more than 5, so just cancel it and add 1 here. This is 0 and add 1. So now this will become 9. So 9 is bigger than 5, cancel, add 1 in the previous digit. This will become 0. So now this will become 4, right? Now 4 is less than 5. So we simply cut it down, put 0, and there is no adding in the previous digit. Why? Because 4 is less than 5. So see, in both, whether you solve it using any method, you will get the same result. So your answer is 1000. Next is 17. So I'm going to solve the next three questions directly. Since we have to round it to the 10th place, this digit is 7, which is more than 5. So add 1 in the previous digit, so it will become 20. Next is 4808, and we have to round it to the nearest 10th place. So 4 and 8 will be written, is going to be written as it is down, and then we have 0 and 1s. Now look for, pay attention at this digit, which is 8. It is more than 5, add 1 in the previous digit, it will become 10, right? And then we have 4808. So in this case, what it will become? Now you can look here, since we have to solve it towards the thousands place. This is unit, 10, 100, 1000. So this is 1000, half of 1000 is 500. Now compare it with this number, 808. So 808 is more than 500. So we have to round up. So when we are going to round up, we have to add 1 here and put all these zeros. So 4 plus 1 will give us 5000, right? Or if you want to solve them individually, then it will become like this way. So cancel this one, add 1 in the previous digit, it will become 1. Now cancel this one. So whenever you're going to cancel, you have to put 0, right? So when we cancel this one, we put 0 here. Since this is 1 less than 5, so we are not going to add 1 in the previous digit. Now coming here, so this is 8, which is more than 5, add 1 in the previous digit, which is already in the pink color, and write 0 here. So see, 4 plus 1 will give you 5. You'll get the same answer. Got it? Okay, here comes the end of this concept. Coming to the last concept, which is estimations. So this is our last concept of our today's session. So what is an estimation? Estimation is basically finding a number that is close enough to the right or the exact answer. So it is, you can say that it is something that you guess, how good your guesses are, right? Okay. So when it comes to number, we have to solve it this way. So let's take an example. These are the two numbers. We have to add them, and we have to add them actually, like properly, and we have to find out the exact answer. So let's see what we will be getting here. So we always have to start adding from the unit place, from the right side, right? We will be having a separate different chapter on addition, don't worry. So this is 3 plus 6 is 9. Then we have to add these two numbers. 4 plus 9 is 13. So write 3 here. Now where should I write 1? So that 1 should be goes at the carry. You're not allowed to write 1 here at the bottom. That would be wrong. Okay. So this would be carry. I will always suggest you to put a circle around your carry so that it will make a difference that this is not a part of the original question, right? So 1, now add these numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10. So this is the answer that we will be getting after adding these two numbers. Now let's guess it. Guess these numbers and guess our final answer. So this is what we are doing, estimating. So if I round these numbers and make a guess that okay, this is 343, which is close to 350, or if you want to round it to the nearest tens, then you can round it to as 340. It is up to you. If you want to round it off to the nearest 100, it will become 300. If you want to round it off to the nearest 10, that will become 340, right? So it is up to your own discretion. So I'm going to round it off to the nearest 10, 340. Right? Why? Because 340 is quite close to 343. But if I round it off to the nearest 100, so then it will become 300. So that there is a huge difference between 300 and 343. Right? So always try to round off to the nearest numbers. Right? The next number is 696. So which is close to 700. So let me just directly write it 700. Now just simple add it. So this is 0, 0, 0 plus 0 is 0, 4 plus 0 is 4, and 3 plus 7 is 10. Now see, this was the actual answer, and this is what we have estimated or we guessed, right? Like sometimes it is very difficult to solve these numbers in your head, add these numbers, right? Because they are having units value as well. But when it comes to when you really want to solve it in your mind, in your brain, then you can simply estimate them and shift those numbers to the nearest tens or hundreds, so then it will become a lot more easier for you to manipulate or solve them in your brain, right? Now see, there is only a difference of one number in between the actual answer and the answer that we have just guessed or speculate, right? Okay, here we have an activity which is quite interesting. Let's just solve this activity. Okay, to answer a phone call. So this is quite interesting. To answer a phone call, how long will it take you to answer a phone call? Not to talk on a phone call, not to start your conversation on a phone call, but simply to answer a phone call. Tap with your finger and say hello, right? So it would take seconds, minutes, or hours. So what would be your guess? Yes, of course, it is seconds. Okay, to read a storybook. So how long will it take you to read a storybook? Seconds, minutes, or hours? Minutes? Really? Seriously? They're not. Okay, read the question very carefully. They're not asking you to how long will it take you to read a story. Story might take few minutes to end up, but a story book. So normally a storybook will carry a lot more pages. So that will definitely take you an hours, right? So always pay attention on the statement, what exactly they're saying, right? To clap your hands. So normally when there is an occasion, when you're happy or when you are going to give credit to someone on their success, so you clap, right? So in that case, how long you usually clap? So for seconds, even not for minutes, otherwise your hands will get hurt, right? Your hands will get painful. Okay, to have your breakfast. So how long will it take you to eat your breakfast? Seconds? Really? No, minutes. Eating food fast is not a good thing, right? And eating foods too much slow, that is also not a good thing. So it will take, might be as 7 to 10 minutes or max 15 minutes, right? To wash clothes. So how long will it take you to wash your clothes? About 45 seconds, 45 minutes, or 45 hours. So normally it will take 45 minutes. To ring a doorbell. About 2 seconds, about 15 minutes, or about 1 hour. Ring a doorbell about 2 seconds, that decent, and about 15 minutes. Seriously? So if you're going to ring a bell for 15 minutes, so you, what will happen afterwards, you can imagine. And after about 1 hour. So this is not hours, this is hour. Okay, so that is really a madness. So we'll go for about 2 seconds. Let me fix these. So about 2 seconds is decent. Time to ring a doorbell. To eat an ice cream, about 10 seconds, about 7 minutes, or about 3 hours. So are you a food eater? About 10 seconds. No, 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 no. Not 10 seconds, about 7 minutes. A decent time. To eat a chocolate, an ice cream. To write your name. Less than a minute, it will take you less than a minute or more than a minute to write your name. Obviously less than a minute, because in a minute we have how many seconds? Of course, 60 seconds. Yes, to get ready to school. That is obviously a more than a minute. Are you a superhero? No, even a superhero cannot get ready for the school in less than a minute. Duration of a sunlight in a day. So at a daytime, the sun will be there with us for how long? About 9 hours. So this is how you estimate things. This is a very basic activity for the general information about our daily life activities. So when it comes to number, we have solved one question, which is here, a mathematical question. So here comes to an end of our today's session. Many congratulations. Before signing off, let me tell you a story. How was the story? See, now you all are attentive. I knew it. Anyhow, once again, thank you very much, viewers, for watching. See you next time at same place, same channel, same voice, but with different chapter. Till then, stay tuned, keep learning, stay blessed, keep smiling. Bye bye.